Hello, parents, and welcome back to Parent Shift, a place where we speak about conscious parenting. I'm continuing my video series on parenting myths that are raising a broken adult. Today is the sixth part of this video series, and I'm going to be focusing on ambition and direction controlling parenting. So basically, those kind of parents who are constantly pushing their child to go crack an IIT exam or go make it to that best university in US, or trying to tell the child that you have to win a gold medal in this or make it to the Indian cricket team, etc. Whereas the child really doesn't want to do that. Anyway, I will come back to this in a little bit. But here is a question for you for reflection. If you may want to write this down. Are you helping your child create a future that your child will thrive in? Or are you driving the child to achieve something that you will be proud of? I'll repeat that question again for you. Are you helping your child create a future that the child will thrive in? Or are you helping and driving the child to achieve something that you will be proud of? Think about this, and there are various things that I speak about through the video which will answer some of this question for you, and I'll also address this towards the end of it. And while you stay with me through the video, whatever your learnings are, please leave them in the comment section. It helps me understand what are you taking away and what's helping you. And do subscribe and share this video so that the message spreads. It helps me. Now, coming back to our ambition and direction controlling parent. If you look at yourself or somebody else who is this ambition and direction controlling parent, highly likely there are a few categories from which this parent will come. One, you will see that it's a parent who's already achieved a lot in life, like they have gone to really good colleges or really worked with good institutions, risen to great heights, and are now pushing their children to do this. Or they're possibly parents who thought that they had a lot of talent, etc., but they did not get good guidance at the right time, and they are now wanting to push their children to really achieve a lot. And some similar such themes. The challenge here is, while the parents' intention of wanting their child to succeed and do well could be noble, but the child is not recruited into this. Parenting can be very funny. I remember hearing this very interesting conversation in a friend's house. The child peeped out of its room. It was a 40-year-old girl. She said, Mom, can I have Maggie? The mother looks back and with a frown says, no, you cannot. That's a bad snack. You have to stay healthy. You have to crack IIT exams. And I was like, wow, what is the correlation between having Maggie and cracking IIT exams? So parents can sometimes go to very funny extent in terms of pushing their desire. They say, I know what is right for you. I know what will work. This is what will give you success. Do this so that you achieve this. Do this so that you can get married and settled well. Do this so that your future can go better, etc., etc., etc. So, like I keep saying, intention is noble of what the parent wants to do. The parent basically just wants their child to succeed, their child not to grow up in poverty, their child not to grow up as a failure. The intention is wonderful, but the way of recruiting the child possibly here is the big challenge. A child who is pushed too far, and let's remember this, a child who's pushed too far is going to succeed on paper, but really not in real life. In real life, it may actually end up having a failure, because at some point in time, the child may just get up and realize that it is living a really bad life. And it's happening to a lot of techies, to a lot of doctors, to a lot of other professionals today who possibly were pushed a lot in their life. I know of a techie who's become a farmer. I know of a doctor who's today training, who's others after he learned music. I know of this girl who was pushed into being a CA topper, and she did wonderful stuff. And today she is a teacher in a primary school for special capability children, and that's exactly what she wanted to do. She later on went and learned psychology on her own. So these are some children who were forced by their parents to become good, because the techie who became a farmer was almost pushed to the heights of the IITs and Ivy League colleges by their parents. But after a burnout, he decided to do something else. So is the case for the other two people. They went to really good colleges, did something, but they left all of their life. They didn't want that money anymore. They didn't want their success anymore because their heart lay somewhere else. So think about what you're doing with your child. Your child's cause, your child's desire may be somewhere else. And I keep saying this, that we parent out of our script the decisions that we have made in life. And many times in this kind of a scenario where we are an ambition and direction controlling parent, where we don't want our child to do what they want to do, but we want the child to do exactly what we want them to do. It could be that we have unfinished dreams which we are now living or wanting to live through our children. It could also mean that we want to continue our legacy, see where I have reached, and obviously my child should leverage this and do better. So whether it's career or it's business, you are pushing them, right? Or on the other way around, it could also be that I am doing decently well, and what will people say if my child does not do well? Or there is an anxiety that what will happen to my child after me. Especially this happens with girl children these days. Or there is this whole egoistic expectation that, look, if my child does well, my status in my overall family, my influence will improve. So all of these are intents that we carry. Ask yourself, why are you pushing your child? Why are you driving the child's ambition? And if the answer is because my child wants it, it's wonderful. If the answer is anything other than the child wants it, don't do it. So if you have a child who wants to do well and you push that child, it's wonderful. But if you don't have a child who wants to take a certain direction, if you are pushing that child, you're highly likely going to break the child sooner or later. And highly likely, because children are resilient, they will grow up and they'll possibly break early adulthood or late adulthood. And at that time, it will be very difficult. Because like the three people that I described, those three friends of mine who I described have shifted their course of life. Not everybody gets a second chance. Not everybody has the courage to shift. Then they silently suffer, stay broken, and they break other adults. So think about this. Now, pushing our children has some advantages. Sometimes it gives us high performance in some areas. It also brings early clarity to the child, though it is a borrowed clarity. And it also could create some external validation, because obviously the child will win, it will do good, whether it's school or sports or music or whatever that achievement. However, what we need to understand, the cons of this is that the intrinsic motivation of the child will start dying to do what it is. And because you are not allowing the child to do certain things and pushing the child to do certain things that you want and which the child doesn't want, it may also lose motivation in doing so many other things. The inability to make self-driven choices goes away. Anxiety comes in, burnout comes in, identity confusion happens. To the extent that this child, when it grows up, it can become a broken adult, that its relationships will only be based on performance. So if somebody performs, then there is a good relationship. If somebody doesn't perform, there is a bad relationship. And these are the kind of people who become very bad managers, very bad leaders, very bad husbands or wives, very bad parents themselves, because whoever they are working with, if those people don't perform, then they become very critical, and their focus is never their own performance. Their focus is always the other person's performance. So it's a very bad style of parenting. We need to check this. And I think the simplest way to ask yourself this is, are you dealing with your child, or are you dealing with a piece of stone that you are trying to sculpt into the most perfect statue? The child is not stone. The child feels, it experiences pain, it experiences challenges. Don't hurt your child by pushing your ambition and direction on the child. Now, there are two myths that I want to cover here, and these are very common myths that parents who have ambition and direction controlling habits, they suffer from. The first is that my child needs direction, so I must define what success looks like for the child. And again, like I said, the intent may have been noble, but the child is not recruited into this. If you are trying to peek into certain things and want to do certain things, it's okay for you. But if you want to peek into the future and make the child do what it is, the child may not be aligned to it with intent, with its talent, with its desire, with its energy. And this is a very bad place to be, because if you are going to define the child's success, then you may actually just end up creating a loose arrow, a loose cannon, because the child is not going to be able to identify your dreams. We can only explain what we are thinking to another human being. That human being can only interpret what we are talking about. It can never really completely fathom what we are talking about. And with children, this can even be more dangerous. So drop this myth. Your child may need guidance. Your child may need support. Your child doesn't need your instructions to live its life. It needs to create its own instruction, its own identity. Its self-regulation has to come. Its own inner voice has to develop to self-regulate. Its own inner logic has to develop so that it starts making logical decisions and integrates the life around it. It needs to figure out its own inner freedom, own inner creativity, so that it finds the ways to solve problems. Without the inner voices and the inner regulation, without the inner logic and decision making and integration capability, without the inner capability to solve problems, the child is going to grow up stunted. So don't do this. Don't live in this myth of my child needs a direction, so I will decide. Don't do that. The second myth that happens is pushing them harder is how I show them I believe in them. And there could not be another statement that is far, far, far removed from truth than this. If you believe in your child, even putting your hand on the child's head is more than enough. Giving it a pat, well done, well tried, wonderful. How can I support you? Here, eat something nice. This will help you focus on what you're trying to do. You know, there are so many ways, from the touch, the care, the nurturing, to the words that you speak, to just being there physically, that you can do to show the child that you believe in the child. You don't need to push the child to perform to show that you believe in that child. You know, pushing can break the child. That's something that you really need to understand. So drop this myth. Don't go there, because this can again create a situation where the child is burning out because of you, not because of anything else. You know, most children are very capable of handling their life with just a little bit of support and guidance. But sometimes the parent puts so much pressure on the child that the child cracks. So it's not the child's life. We sometimes blame the school, the society, the competition. It's actually not them. It's sometimes the parent that is cracking the child. On the other way around, the world could pose as difficult challenges as competitive exams or this, that, and the other, or career choices. But if the parent is supportive, if the parent is a good, comfortable, sensible cocoon for the child can sometimes have a brilliant launch pad in their life. So drop this myth. Now, I began the video by saying that some amount of direction, some amount of guidance is noble. How do you do this though? How do you do this without creating a damage? I'm going to leave few elements of guidance. There are some things that I've been speaking in all videos, like family rituals of values, conversations, etc., which are again important here. But specific to this, if you are too much of the ambition and direction controlling parent, you need to stop that and you need to do this. Number one, you need to become the explorer or exploration guide along with your child. You need to sit down and ask questions like, let's explore what are your options here. What is your long list? What all will you like to do? And then sometimes use things like Howard Gardner's multiple intelligence to say, hey, if you do this, this will help you with your mathematical and logical ability. But if you do this, this will help you with your spatial or your musical intelligence, or this will help you with your linguistic intelligence. Help the child develop a plethora of things. With career, show them different things that they can do. Help them understand what have you seen them doing well. Other than the regular rote academics that most schools will expose them to, what are the other career streams? What are the various areas that the child could look at? If the child wants to do something which is considered unconventional by most people, how can you help the child understand that it's normal to want a career in art? It's normal to want a career in agriculture. It's normal to want a career in maybe interior decoration or woodwork or this, or it's okay to want a career in some sort of performing art. How can you normalize things through exploration? That's something that you can do first. You have to be your child's exploration guide if you really want to develop or help the child develop so that it flourishes. Second thing, not just exploration, it's not just about developing a list, but experimentation. Be kind. Many times the child will do 10 things and only pick up one or two from it, right? Like my daughter loves water. I even took her for a lot of swimming coaching in early years, but at some point in time she said, I don't want to compete. And we said, fine, drop it. But in karate, she went on to become a black belt and she loves karate. And in fact, she keeps saying that I want to learn jujutsu. So you have to let the child experiment with things before it figures out something on its own. Sometimes a child will play 5 instruments before saying, no, this is something that I want to learn only vocal music, not instrumental. Or maybe the child will go to 5 hobby classes and then say, I don't want to do any of these things. Fine, I will just do this for fun, but I don't want to pursue it seriously. So let them try, let them fail or succeed, let them decide, help them recalibrate. So the exploration and experimentation have to sort of go hand in hand so that the child picks out and keeps a small list. And always remember, have at least 3 or 4 scores of your child. So if the child has academics as one core, you could have maybe sports or art as another core, or choose a few other areas. See what are the 2-3 areas where your child can really specialize other than academics or other than whatever its core intention is. That's what is going to broad base the children. If any of you have seen that beautiful movie King Richard, where the Williams sisters' father is shown grooming them, you will see that he developed the capability of the Williams sisters not just in tennis, but in language, in studies, in so many areas. He kept them in the crucible and in the stage of baking for a long time. And when they started doing what they started doing, you see the kind of success that they had. So that is, by the way, one of the best parenting movies that you can watch. Yes, he had his flaws, but we can always take the positive lessons from there. The other thing that you can do with exploration and experimentation is you can teach something called excellence bar setting. What is excellence bar setting? You can start with having the child set goals. So it's the goal setting process. Where do you want to reach? When do you want to reach? How do you want to reach? And once they reach, then you have them reset the goal. But you can also teach them what is goal stretching. Say you are achieving 10 things. How can you stretch and achieve 20 things? Before getting to 20, how can you get to 12, 14, 16, 18, and then 20? So goal setting versus goal stretching. Teach the child this. Teach the child self-regulation on the bigger picture and raising the bar. How can you do that, raising the bar? So those are very important things. Lastly, and this is very important for every parent to do, you need to help de-link the child's identity from the child's performance. Performance can go up and down in life, but identity should be sacrosanct. Identity should be always ever expanding. Every day adds to the life of the child. Every concept adds to the life of the child. Every learning adds to the life of the child. Every up or down adds to the life of the child. So that life of the child should translate into an identity, a positive self-appreciation, positive self-worth, positive narratives. That is something that you as a parent can help them in the first 15 to 20 years of their life, so that as they go through their adulthood, they continue that good narrative about themselves. Some of us, we would have done far better in life if we had a positive narrative about ourselves in the right time. So give that gift to your child. De-link identity from performance. Help the child develop positive narratives about itself. So those are the things that you can do: exploration, experimentation, excellence bar setting, and delinking identity from results. So remember, pushing is fine, but provided it's your child who wants to run that race. Now, I had begun by asking this question that, are you helping the child to succeed in something that it will thrive, or are you helping the child to succeed so that you can be proud of it? Many of us have a hidden agenda. With children, drop your hidden agendas. Your only agenda should be your own child. Support them in building their own compass. Don't give them your beliefs, your maps, your way of life, your things. Yes, teach them tradition, values from our Bharatiya Sanskriti. You can pick up and teach them what Vedas, Upanishads, Brahma Sutras, yoga, Jyotish, Ayurveda. Teach them those kind of things which come from our Sanskriti. But do not hand them your broken records. That can be a big challenge. Excellence takes time, and what takes time takes time. And it's about what we choose in which we excel. But before we become excellent at something, what we have chosen needs to choose us. We can choose studies, but studies have to choose us. We can choose Jyotish, but Jyotish has to choose us. We can choose tennis, but tennis has to choose us. And that process only happens with a little bit of dedication and a little bit of grace. And like they say, when the Lord Almighty smiles at you, when the Tridevi smile at you, you will get that blessing. So help your children learn. Learn what? How to learn, and how to be successful, and how to be likable. That's what you can do. That's where you can push them. Teach them to learn how to learn about success, and learn about likability. Those are wonderful things where you can push. Other than that, only if the child has been recruited, only if the child wants to do something, should you push the child. Don't push your ambitions, your directions on the child. Those are your broken records. Most likely they are your nostalgia. They are your ego. Don't project them onto the child and raise a broken child.